Hi, I'm Seamless, and this is another track from scratch. We're going to continue on with the drum and bassy one. Right now it's just the bass. We'll get the drums when we're done with the bass. Today we're going to do more modularness. And what's going to happen is I've unplugged all the stuff, and I've lengthy process to figure out to get my ES3 router because I haven't used it in a while. Purpose, though, is that we're going to route stuff I designed in a second inside FL out here and process it that way, including by doing stuff like additional outputs being like a different plugin, like a Citrus or something, and modulating them together. It's gonna be great. Pardon me while I die first. Cool. All right. Now that I'm dead, let's use my unearthly powers to create a new harmor sound. Oops, didn't actually want to make a harmor. Actually, I guess that this is fine because I'm going to output it straight. So let's just do that. Let's go real hard with that. Otherwise, this is just a lot of complicated routing to get outputs. Chat's marveling about how the YouTubers will never know. They'll never know the struggle. Because I started like half an hour early to make sure this stuff worked today. And it was a good call. Future prediction. I'm going to forget that Citrus's ratio is set by 2 by default instead of Harmer's 1. I'm going to modulate it, and I'm not going to know why it sounds weird. It'll take me like 2 or 3 minutes to figure out why, and then I'll be like, oh wait, yeah, it's the wrong pitch. Happens like every time. So, here's something fun about that kind of phase cancellation is happening. I'm about to show you guys the difference between these modes here. So let's go to uniform. You see that really straight setup there? Like completely even looking, like a classic. Pretty even looking, blurred. Pretty even looking. Get the number 3 in there. Starting to get a little weird. And the thing is that like uniform is basically literal of the whole thing, and then the rest of them are kind of like a slightly offset of each other. And what's interesting is that like these modes, kind of like the different phaser shapes, are ones that you can kind of create yourself when you're coming into here to do this, when you're messing around and moving this. Insofar as like, I guess that's just not true at all because it's a phase shape thing because they're not changing any of the pitches. I wonder how it determines that, honestly. Point is though, is that quality is what we're changing when we screw around with this. See how a moment of it changes at a different speed up there? We're kind of telling moments of it to speed up or slow down based on how fast we're telling it to be here. Isn't that funky? And we could even create, if we're doing this on purpose enough, kind of opposite motion and get you a formant shape just because of phase cancellation. See how it looks like it's kind of moving into sort of the center now. That opposing motion is what gets us formant stuff, so that we're sort of making that happen with phase cancellation here. And now the difference between the top end of the phase and the bottom end of the phase is this top end here is basically like it begins at 0 phase, and then you hear that cascade, and then this is sort of like down the range of that cascade. Like if I kept holding it forever, it's essentially progressing down this as it goes. And this lets you start, so somewhere down the chain if you want to. Down here, it spreads the phase evenly. It has nothing to do with where it starts, and it just spreads it evenly. And that has a different tag altogether. And you know something? That actually might be where this business applies itself. Because that would be the only place. Nope, identical. Weird. I really could have sworn I had a handle on what this stuff meant. Anyway, doing this because I'm gonna make a kind of like uh base, upon the build for the modular stuff to mess with. It can't be too convoluted, but it's got to be a little moody. Hertz mode is a different thing altogether. Its idea is that like octave and hertz is everywhere. It's the hertz version of that. Everything else is octave, and this is hertz. This stuff has to do with splitting your pitching and your unison voices by notes and notes value, which is different, lower and higher spectrum. Like a C to like a 1 step difference on a bass note is a couple hertz versus a 1 step difference way up top is like a couple thousand hertz. I don't actually know how many thousands of hertz, but even if it is 1,000 hertz, but it's a lot more than a couple hertz. That's my point. Hertz mode doesn't take into account at all, and it's all by hertz, and it comes out, a not very note sounding spread, which is why it turns to noise kind of fast. And it's just flipped phase, I believe. Cool. Oh, okay. I wanted to test something, and this is a perfect opportunity to do that. I've done something like this once, but we're gonna do something slightly more ridiculous. Okay, copy part, paste part. All right, so I'm gonna use the phasers, and the phaser, and harm mode. That's right, yeah. So here's how this is gonna happen. We're gonna oh snap! Is there a volume mask? Oh yes, there is. Sort of. Is there a different kind of? I guess it's just literally the volume, like up here, or in here. Huh? Yeah, this is essentially the volume mask. Okay, so that's gonna make this slightly more complicated. So well, this is how I was gonna do it anyway, but I'm gonna do it a little bit weird. I'm gonna blend two different kinds of phaser modes essentially. And we're gonna make this with modulation. This is gonna be one of those sounds. It's very a cloud of stuff that I pick good parts from. Cool. And you're not linked because you're an external controller. Cool. All right. Yeah. Okay. It's gonna be this way. Let's checkerboard it. Checkerboarding in freaking phase splitting or freaking what was this, band splitting? Checkerboard band split. Why the hell not? Oh, this is gonna get weird. So I took off the distortion in post, so this should just come across as just been one dude. Oh, that's funky looking. All right. All right. Okay, so I also really want to put this like way at the end because I want it to be like a sharp as shit interaction. I might kind of futz with that later, but we'll see. Oh boy. For one freaky second, I was worried I wasn't recording. Thank you, Steam. Go back, chat. There it is. I just lost it. Okay, so because I'm using harmonic mode, when I change the qualities of the unison, it will change the qualities of the phaser. God, I really wish I could see these built at once. I can. That'd be kind of an obnoxious setup, though. So I'm not gonna do that. Ooh, that's freaky. That's special as hell. Someone in the chat asks, have I ever tried to import an image file in Harmony and make something musical out of it? And like, yes and no. Like, yes, in that I have, and then no, that I. It's not really that difficult. You just constrain really particular parameters. You can get anything to sound like anything you want. I know that's like draw the rest of the owl coming from me, but still, that's just how I feel about it. Oh. Could even. You can even see the cuts in the spectrum. That is so freaky. Let's look at this. Actually, yeah, I should be looking at this in the EQ. It's basically the same freaking view. Oh, that's so cool. That's what I call linear phase. So they're telling me this one is kind of where most of the tone is. That's a little stupid. You know something? Let's change the shape. How interesting. I forget what key I'm in. I think I just went with E. Yeah, I was planning on kind of throwing it around in pitch like I was doing with the dubstep one. Not too much. I kind of learned a little bit from that one. Yeah, so many websites. You're just creating an album. I'm a little bit disillusioned in the whole like album concept. I'm not so despondent about it, but it's still a lot of it's. I like doing this so much more than actually putting stuff out. That like by the time I like put the thing out, I'm like way past whatever it is about it I liked. You know what I mean? With this kind of way, would be putting out like weird experiments and stuff. I kind of get like what I want out of it in the moment, and then if it's that awesome that I want to keep going with it, I can. And if not, then like I got literally the maximum I can get out of it, and it kind of works out. Kind of. It's not totally great, but then again, I'm not really. I don't consider myself to be like a really primarily a musical artist. Oops, I broke a. There you go. The A projects, people in chat talking to me about this, is what I'm talking about more or less. Those are examples of projects that like were interesting little tests of things. Some of them were cool, some of them were not. Some of them were cool, but like not so cool that I really wanted to like go all the way with it all the way. When I switched to MacBook and install FL20, no. It was really even before I've never had a reason to Mac. I don't have a reason to not Mac, but like it's too much of a like a why kind of question at this point. Especially if the answer is like, well, because parody. Then it's like, well, but then why? Okay. I'm not saying there's not reasons. It's just not totally for me. Not mean. Also, stereo really doesn't matter in this context because it's only going to come out in one output. And I'm really not going to want to stereo process this too much. All the cool things I'm going to do are not stereo. Cool. That's sort of a weird output, sort of result. One of these days, I'll try doing something like this and process them as separate outputs, and then add them together. That'd be kind of cool. If I had another arm, how would I use it to produce? I'm not really sure. I would use it to produce. I probably use it more to perform, like, because that could mean like I could do drum stuff and like play a thing, you know, or I could like play all the things. I could like control so much crap. At that point, it'd be like I am producing, but I have so much capability that I can do it live. All right, this is gonna go out. 8 at 1 2. It works. Cool. Da, 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 da. Over here now. Focus on the bit. Yeah. So now when I hit the go button, it shows up there. All right, let's do up a rudimentary patch. Move the mic to be in front here now, so I can face the area. What am I? Okay, so this dude, I'm gonna want to like modulate with a secondary input. So let's start with something pretty basic, like a filter. Let's do in A. And I'm just gonna out B all the way up here. That's when is that 7/8 input? We'll find out in a second. Yep. So that's input 8. I just put it in a series filter with this dual filter module. I put it into input A and it's going out output B, and then this switches between being parallel in A out A and B, or in A and out B, but A goes into B. And then it has this mix knob here, but since I'm going straight out the out B, it does the mix out. I'm not in that out. I'm in the out for B. I'm just hearing that. It's not really doing anything. And this is sort of like the default, like that's not doing anything right now kind of mode. You know, like all filters have. And then I'm gonna modulate it. See, y'all should look at the music video for Monkey Drummer. Basically just talking about that. Alright, so here's where it would have been wonderful if I had done this as a patcher, but that's fine. I'll live with my Mistake. All right, since we're doing output 1, 2, I'm actually just going to pan. All right, good. In order to select a single output of a stereo pair, you just pan things, and that's the end of that. I just do that in FL, I don't have to worry about it. Okay, so the second thing I'm going to do here is we're going to connect the second output to something fun like FM2. All right. Now, FM2 on the filter is connected through, so it's actually modulating both of them. And FM2 is also bipolar, which is good for what I'm doing. All right. So I did that so that when I go back into FL, we have something to hear that's happening, because now I'm gonna design the modulator. This dude. All right, I'm gonna pan him all the way to the other side. Oh wait, no shit. Can't do that from here. That'd be really handy. Because I pan this. Yeah, it worked. Neat. Sometimes I forget that the channel panning knob will actually do something. Cool. Control C, Control V, and here's, oh shit, I remembered. Bring it down. All right. So now there's a sine wave coming out of that secondary output. Let's go back into here. And we'll play my FL sound. That was self-resonance going on there, or self-oscillation from resonance going on there. So, now that it works, we're going to go back into FL, and now we're going to screw around with the modulator while we're listening to it. Also, what's cool is that because output level directly corresponds to intensity when you're modulating stuff, I can just make this lower or higher here. I can just maximum output at FM2 and have the same bipolar control. A perk of digital source. I'm going to switch to the bandpass and the first filter just because. So right now I'm modulating it by something that's the same speed, and we could immediately get some Reese qualities. Although actually I say that, but the other guy's got unison going on, and this guy doesn't. So by that quality alone, it's already doing it. But if I it starts to move with it, I don't really like it though. The real fun's gonna be when we apply these parameters to some other stuff. But actually, right now I'm gonna try something funky. I'm gonna Make you a saw. Let me do this thing. Remember this thing? Yeah. And then number 3. Bam, bam, bam. Although, because we're doing, I guess because we're FM2 in it, I want to RM it. It's weird that I can tell. Although, And then, so on top of the whole idea that we can control it with volume, this also means we can just straight up modulate it from within. Expect that more modulation signal can get a little higher. Oh, wait, I forgot. Kind of like that. Okay, interesting. So, just to help me out with that, just because I like that filter modulation in there, and I don't feel like being in control of it right now, I'm just going to connect it to another oscillator. And that's going to be FM1. You can be a triangle. Super slow. Heh. Let's go back to... I guess simple is a little bit better most of the time. Still a little... Let me put that back in a low pass for a second. Ooh, okay. All right, back to modular world. I'm hoo-hooing because this is a kind of thing that I know is going to work out all right after I do a thing. And that thing is storing the shit out of it and modulating it with our carrier. Oops, our modulator here. I might even get another one involved that's a little sharper in a specific way. But don't have to. All right. I'm just going to clone the output here and put it in a mult. So you can go back into FM2. And then you can modulate what? The tone, distortion level, the dry wet, probably all of the above, honestly. Come on, yo. idea, actually. I wasn't gonna do this. I thought I wouldn't. At least I thought I wouldn't do this, but I'm gonna. And that is to use the original input as a modulation source for something in post. Because why not, honestly? Kind of neat. I'm looking at it in the FLs now. All right. So now the things that I would do next would typically be done as a signal path in a single individual chain, but we're gonna parallel the shit out of this. So this, for example, is going in, and that's fine. I can stay that way. I'm gonna put into input 7 here. This guy going into reverb though, and then we're gonna do some fun stuff with that, and then we're gonna. I might even put a third. Kind of. Lots of ideas at once. Oh boy. Okay. So you're going. I need one of you. All right, that's fine. And then, oh wait, no, I want this out of reverb, don't I? Or out of the distortion, rather. Nope, not mix. Out B. Input 1. You know, here's something extra fun. This is a 2-input distortion unit, right? It's supposed to be for stereo processing, but if I feel like it, I could just come back into that chain as a second, even separate process. But it's still, if it's still part of the same process, it could even be relevant, like harmonically. How cool would that? How cool would that? Is what I just said. And because we are paralleling it, might as well. Oh, wait. Yes. Okay. Thoughts for later. Do I want to do that now? I'm unsure. Nope, because it's going to be the dry that I end up doing that to, isn't it? What does it sound like right now? Right, okay. I'm kind of going to use that guy as like the reinforcement background. I might even like loop in some of the digital original for sub. We'll see how the latency is. Digital original. But in this case, it does mean separate reverb. All right, this is going to be fun because I have a whole other set of ADAT inputs that I'm using that I can use, and we'll see if I correctly routed them. Whole point was so I can do this. Okay, input 7 and what? Well, we can hear it. There's the original. And that's this dude's reverb. That's the herb verb. And where is the last input? Is it in 8 at 1? Oh my god, it is. All right, so now I gotta level it, right? That's gonna be kind of awkward. Um, and it is. Neat. Label these main verb. Oops, keep forgetting. Gotta hear this guy. So let's listen to this dude for a bit. This is. All right. So let's get this modulation train going. For this guy, I'm going to give him an entirely new citrus to go in his own deal, and he's going to go out 8 at 3 4. So we're getting two outputs now. We have sort of left and right happening. And we can hear that because it's routed, but there it is. Cool. All right, so now let's modulate us up some reverb. So doing this is interesting. So this particular knob is kind of like FM1 on the filter over there, in the sense that it's not bipolar, it's 0 to 100, I think. I say I think, and I'm not sure there's really any other way to be, and that's because when I go to throw a modulation source into here, there's no attenuating it. It's modulating the entire range the whole time. So if I want that to be different, like if I want it to say be mostly on and have it not like modulate the whole range, I gotta like introduce a floor. And you could actually do that with Citrus. All right, back in Citrus. So is it this guy? That guy. All right. So if I make him a square wave, do that DC offset. That comes across in the modular space as like a straight line. Because it's not oscillating at that point. So right now this parameter is controlling addition into the reverb parameter from 0, sounds like 0, to all the way off. Yeah, so that knob has to be all the way up, and that's the max value, and then when it's all the way up, it's all the way up. Neat. So if I wanted to say be almost up and then modulate that, I have to add in there a modulated signal. So like another guy here. So this is sort of like, this is this flat line here, and then here comes like modulating that signal bit because it's adding it to the same output. Like let's actually look at that output because we can. All right, so without let's get rid of interpolation. Such. So like without that, oh come on. And here comes modulation. And that's how FM works. Well, it's how signal paths work in the CV universe, which I love. I love it a lot. But we're going to do something more fun than just this sine wave for here. Polarity matters, as you can see. All right, so now that we've done that, let's go back to regular. I actually kind of want that to be more reverb than not. Actually, come to think of it, these signals should be hard, like the same. So if I flip the phase, oh, I guys are panning them, and I screwed up the levels too, so that's probably not going to work at all. Woo, it does work. Oh god, I just flipped the polarity from the other guy. That's me modulating its level. Not doing that though. All right, now it's actually screw around the actual thing here, because I've done almost nothing to it. That's a fun. Yeah. All right, so kind of the purpose of doing this. Now, all right, the last this sort of thing I was thinking about doing. I don't know if I could do it enough to be stable, but I don't know if it matters. I would want to. Ooh. Maybe. All right, I'm like parsing through a whole bunch of ideas for a second. So basically, it's all to do with this guy. This is a bipolar amplifier, a bipolar VCA, which is different from a regular VCA because if I were to put a bipolar signal into a regular VCA, what would happen is that half of it would just be not considered. And versus if I had a bipolar VCA where it actually would create a modulation. So this is why sometimes if you've ever like modulated any of this stuff with just a waveform and it sounded choppy and stupid when it shouldn't have, that's probably why. But if you do it right with an actual bipolar thing that's designed to do it, you could do some funky cool stuff. And one of the funky cool things I'm thinking of doing is this. Yeah. It's a company named WMD that makes these guys. I also have one of their compressors. Yeah, over here. This guy. I'm like forgetting where he is. Okay. Okay, so positive. Kind of keep you guys evenish. No CV. And now back to FL for a second. Oh, someone apparently came back from NIM. Do you have some secrets for us, buddy? This guy, triangle. I really like triangles for this purpose. I like triangles for FM, like direct modulation in general. Like triangles in digital FM gets you sharp modulation, but triangles in analog FM gets you like slightly smoother modulation than what a sine gets you, which is a little unintuitive if you're used to how digital stuff works. It's already hooked up. Yeah. It's gonna need its own mult. Good thing there's already got one right there. So many cables. Okay. Last output into this. I'll go back to the thing here. Yeah. All right. So talk about, so the last output out of this guy, this is the one that we're doing the triangle with, and it's coming to this mults, and it's going to go in. I need 3 of these outputs to go into these 3 CV inputs here. I now have more really tiny ones, but I had these. These came with the Mother 32. Because of course they did. Okay. See if this will fucking work. Alright, so this is main. So here's a sort of a main issue with this guy is that he is a stereo signal. That's loud as hell. It doesn't do that loud because we are going to modulate it. Okay, nope. There he is. I was wondering where my modulator went. I need to hear the other guy. There he is. Alright, so here's what's happening right now. This guy up, this top dude, is the main, like, unreverb signal. And then down here is both the stereo of the reverb signal. So I am trying to kind of keep these the same, and it's sort of a bit difficult to do that manually. But what's happening is I'm modulating it with the same triangle, but I'm modulating it opposite. So it kind of means that, like, when one is coming down, the other one's coming up. So we're getting kind of like no reverb signal, some reverb signal, and then we're getting main signal, no main signal. So it's like half the signal and the other half of the signal is the 2 different chains here. We're cramming together the 2 different chains with the bipolar volume automation to add them together. So this is seriously like the stitched sound, because the original one was the A and B of Harmer split up by frequency, and this one is A and B being split up by chain. And it's the best part though is that it's being added together in parallel. I still can modulate and control the main and the reverb separately inside FL. How neat is that? And now if I do something fun, like put on a slide note, all of it will move together. I'm just putting down different notes and testing it because I want to hear what it sounds like. That sounded like a Sonic sound effect. Wow. I mean, it is more or less how they made that, like a square and a filter and a pitch mod. Oh boy. Okay, it didn't occur to me to have the modulators and the main thing move at different pitches and different speeds, like with the sticking around to pitch. Because remember, all of this is coming from inside FL. And I'm going to remind you of that by coming into FL when I'm doing things. Yeah. All right. See, this right here is why I should have done this in Patcher. Let's actually mess around with the original sound, though, because we haven't been here in a while. Actually, I should have done this. All right. I'm going to have to... All right, okay. Isn't that great that these things are like adding together? That's just so cool. Remember that this signal was also modulating stuff. Which is why it just got sharper when I went to square mode there, because while square mode sounds smoother, it is a sharper physical signal. Oh shit, I just realized that means that like crossfading between this means that it also changes the quality of the modulation. I'm using this as automation. So like gotta be like 50% most of the time, right? Yeah. Oh boy. So then of course, because the pitch changes, it actually changes against the modulation because it also changes where the cuts are and where they represent. I have made the snoring pig. It does kind of sound like either like a pig is having a good time or I'm asleep, very asleep. Yeah. Okay. All right. All right, that modulation didn't really help this guy. A little better. All right, left, right, phase cancellation is not a good idea at audio rate. Gotcha. I was moving those volume knobs, trying to nail it in there. I want to get this guy to be much more represented. Because like this guy, that took a long time to open. Honestly, don't need too many slides right now. Okay, that's... That's the modulation for the distortion. Let's go look at that for a second. Just occurred to me I wasn't doing anything with that second filter in there. And I'm gonna. Actually, I don't even need to do much. I can just turn on... I just put on a notch, and I'm gonna engage FM2, which is already being modulated from the first guy. Interesting. Alright, back in the FL. This one's the one I was controlling the reverb, right? Yeah. I turned the delay down a bit on the reverb, which sharpened it up a bit. And then the next thing I was going to do, oh yeah, was futz around with you. That's kind of fun. It's got its own like weird little delay in there because if it's actually I guess it's because of this modulation over here. It's turning into like 7 different kinds of acid. Someone in the chat says, my ears are starting to become desensitized to these frequencies. It's probably good to point out that I'm monitoring pretty low. It's also why I like to switch around. And I think I will actually keyboard track the phaser. Oh boy. That's kind of weird because, okay, so I should probably do that for both of these. That's weird. What was that cutting from? It's from this? It's from this, probably. Here, now let's do this old school style. And get a layer. Yay. Turn it all the way up, though. So now I can just wheelie-nilly. Whew, phase cancellation. I gotta try some of that. Whoops. This is the phase thing, right? Yeah. And if your question is, how do I know what I'm sounding like right now? The answer is I don't. does sound fun, doesn't it? I didn't even know how to express that sound, like in a sense that I would use it in a song, but I'm gonna. It's gonna happen. I'm a big fan of that guy too. That about using the fruity granulator, someone asks. Almost all the time. Oh, I like that stereo spread on the way down there. Like the modulation on the reverb really sells that. It's nice. So I'm doing this because I have plans for it. Ooh, that sounds so goddamn good, beefed up like that. Wow. All right, that's the one. I was getting in there because I really was hearing some potential for wavetablery. Wavetablery. I want one. Like, this is my table. I'm making a table. This is my table. I'm making a table. This is my table. Nope. Crap. Really could have sworn I need to figure it out, but alright. There we go. One more time. Alright, I was waiting for a particularly good version of that. This one. Oops. Damn it, it moved. still snapping to zero crossing. Tables. Cool. So that was what? F2? Was that actually F2? That actually might be F2. I say actually because most of the times when I capture a thing that I intend to make a table, it's the wrong pitch. Watch this be the wrong pitch anyway. Oh yeah, shit. Gotta keep enabling. Every day. Well, wildly incorrect. Wildly incorrect. So F0, 4 times, 3 times. Is that how that works? It's double and double. I gotta just had that rant to myself. Go away. F. Should I? It's base. That's how bases work. Yeah. All right. Ooh, really quiet. That doesn't look that quiet. It's not. Interesting. Play chop suey on an analog bass. It just sounded in my head just now. It sounded kind of funny. I don't know if that was what you were envisioning. Cool. Let's do. Nope. Hold on. Normalize each. 0 fundamental phase. It's probably fine. Cool. Don't need the remap on, but yeah, it's stable. I'm gonna save it. You know something? I'm just gonna call it that. Boop. All right, back to this. What the fuck? Oh my god! Like, holy shit with that. That's like the angriest thing I've ever made. Where the snap seems to happen before that. I shouldn't have expected phase to be that perfect. Someone called it a police siren made out of a fart. It is pretty much that, and that. I feel like if police sirens were this, people would pay attention to it out of absolute fear for their safety. Oh wait. I got talkie. I could go like the R is silent on this and record a bunch of stuff and like use the time stretching to create the modulation. For some of these, that would definitely work out. It is very ain't it? Well, since this is supposed to be something that we're gonna like some people to download, I'm actually just gonna spend the rest of today dicking around with the parameters I have in the modular to try and get it to sound cool. I'm just gonna record all of it, and then that'll just be an audio file in here. Be pretty sweet, I think. Wow. So a fun thing that happened in the middle of all that cacophony is this guy is being modulated in its main, like the reverb is being modulated, kind of like the reverb filter inside Serum. And I made it a little smoother by bringing it down a bit and also increased the tail and that kind of thing, and also really ramped out the distortion so it smoothed everything out. But because we're switching between the reverb and the dry with that triangle over there, I'm kind of adjusting it so that we're still getting that bite in there, and that bite is the switch between the reverb and the dry's signal path, which remember also being split up in FL by band. Yeah. Wow. All right. Well, that was definitely a lot for today. And we kind of got a thing, got some stuff out of it. Oh, wow. Check it out. That right there, that's the that's one of the filters modulating. Yeah, that's the reverb. That's that triangle wave oscillator modulating the filter. That's resonance. You can see it in the noise. Oh, analog stuff. Analog and about. So this is gonna be let's go get that audio file in here. And then, you know, this might be enough for bass, like enough to like establish some bass level stuff. Maybe next time we'll start doing real like drum stuff processing. Oh man. Yeah, this is something that Sal Diller talked to me a lot about when we were starting with the modular stuff, and that like the waveforms that generated it tend not to be as centered as regular waveforms. Yeah, lots of fodder. Anyway, moving to the next video. I guess we'll start doing drums again. Until next time, if you have any questions about this, please let me know. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and all that good stuff. And as usual, have a nice day.